Hi, and thanks for listening to Gossip with Celebrity, brought to you by Celebrity.com. This week, we talk about the new Sussex biography, Finding Freedom. And we also cover Joe Biden's pick of Kamala Harris for his vice president. Our user feedback is about how awesome we are, and we end with our weekly feature, The Comments of the Week. The stories, photos, and tweets we talk about can be found at Celebrity.com/podcast under episode 63. Hi, I'm Katie, the founder and editor of Celebrity.com, and I write as Celebrity.
And I'm Chandra. I write as Kaiser for Celebrity, and I'm the head writer. I kind of screwed up the order.
No, yeah, you covered it really well. I thought you meant to do that. I was like, ooh. So our big news in our area was that we had an earthquake on Sunday. I guess it hit North Carolina, and I thought, so the little groundhog, oh, he's kind of big, actually. He's been coming on my porch, and he had come on my porch Saturday and knocked some stuff. So Sunday, I was like, oh, that bastard's on the porch again. And then I heard that it was a earthquake on Sunday morning around 8. Did you feel that?
I didn't feel it. I mean, maybe I did, and I just thought it was something else.
Yeah.
Because you thought that, too.
Yeah.
But I remember, like, maybe a decade ago, there was an actual earthquake that hit just like our area.
Oh,
like
yeah.
The Central Virginia. Like, it really scared me. Like, the house was shaking. I remember like the sound that the house made as it shook. And I was like, oh my God, what is that?
That must be scary for people who live out west. I remember that too. That was 2011 because I had looked it up for this because I'm anal like that. I'm crazy. But I thought it was a truck outside because I lived in like this subdivision. You had been over to my house, that little house on the corner I lived in. And I thought it was a big truck driving by. And I was like, wow, that truck's really shaking everything.
Yeah. And my house, it's not in a direct flight path, but sometimes we get helicopters flying really low for whatever reason. And so that's what I initially thought it was. I thought it was either something that the dog was doing or it was a helicopter. Like, that was how loud everything felt and like everything was shaking. I don't know how Californians do it. I really don't.
It must be scary. Yeah, so that was our big thing. And I'm really paying attention to the thunder and lightning. And it's like a thrill when it rains really hard and there's lightning. There was last night. We sit around and watch it.
No, I woke up last night in the middle of the night, and I mean, the lightning was crazy. I was like, how was I sleeping through this?
It was super loud. We get those jets here too, and I thought it was a jet at first, but it was thunder. I got a COVID test this week. The sore throat I had didn't go away. I'm still under the weather. I feel really kind of achy, but it came back negative, so that's the good news. I tweeted about it, and everyone's like, oh, well, it could be positive again later. And I'm like, shut up.
Well, you were convinced that you had the coronavirus in March.
I was really sick in March for like a month. It was either bad flu or COVID.
I think it's a solid possibility that it was coronavirus back then and that you're still having like some random symptoms here and there.
It could be that. It could be that. My kid did get the sore throat at the same time I did, making me think it's another infection with something. But I'm going to get over it. It's going away. I'm not focusing on it. Everything's fine.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's nothing you can really do if you tested negative. Like, just take care of yourself like you have a cold or the regular flu or something.
Yeah.
That's all you can do. Just stay hydrated.
I was impressed, like, how quickly I got the test back, and they were super professional. That nurse practitioner told me that I was like, oh, is this a typical symptoms for COVID? And she said, there's no typical symptoms. I had a lady who came in with just an earache. And she was like, okay, great. They came back right away, so. This week was super exciting because we got Finding Freedom finally by Omid Scobie and Carolyn Durand, and that book fucking delivers, let me say that.
Yeah, it's really delivering. It's some good gossip, but it's more than that. It's just like old stories repackaged, but with the Sussex twist. This is the correct record.
Yes.
You know, this is what actually happened. And as someone who like covered all of the crazy tabloid stories as they happened.
Yeah.
It's nice to have the record corrected.
And it feels genuine and real. And it's very matter of fact. It's not sensationalized. The shade is deliciously subtle. And
yeah, and what's left unsaid is very interesting as well.
Yes. So I really like what you wrote, the narrative about Prince Harry and Meghan's relationship and how she was driving the relationship. And then later the press tried to make it like she was the one who pushed him to leave the royal family, when that was something that he's kind of talked about for years. And we've covered that here and on the site as well.
Yeah, like, so for pretty much the entire length of Meghan and Harry's relationship, the narrative in the British press has always been that Harry is very weak and emotional, and that Meghan is very smart, and that she is driving everything.
Yeah.
That she's so clever. Harry just does whatever she says. I mean, it's sexist. There's a racial element to that narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Finding Freedom says overwhelmingly, over and over again, just telling the story of their romance. Harry pursued her. Harry drove the relationship. He wanted to be with her. He will do anything for her. But she's not asking him, like, do this, do that. Like, he just wants to give her everything.
It's a partnership, yes.
Yeah, and I always kind of wondered, like, who wanted to move to Frogmore, because it always felt like one of them had to want it more.
Yeah.
Harry was the one who wanted this little family home in Windsor. He wanted to take Meghan away from London. He wanted to have this tiny little nuclear family with no one else around, and just like have Meghan and Archie all to himself. That's what he wanted. That was his dream.
Yes. And there were a lot of sections about how they wanted less staff, and I don't know what to say.
Yeah, and I do think that Harry wanted to leave. And I've always sort of suspected that Meghan is more of a compromiser. That she'll see, like, the longer view. She'll see the wisdom of, well, maybe we could just compromise on this, Harry. And Harry's like, no, fuck these people. We're leaving. You know, that's how he is.
Oh, yeah.
As a Virgo, I really respond to that energy of, like, burn it all down. Let's fucking move to America. Fuck all these people. I get that. I really get that.
Yeah, that's a good point, too, because she is such a strategist. Mm-hmm. And I can see her trying to figure it out. And she has like spreadsheets and pro and con lists and shit, you know? That's the type of person she is.
Yeah, and like, I also feel like her lived experience as a Black woman, she knows what she can handle. And like, she knows that people are going to be racist to her, and she'll just say, okay, well, I was expecting that. And she says, you know, maybe I can deal with some of this. You know, I can compromise here and we can stay, and maybe it won't be that bad. And Harry's like, no, fuck this. These people are racist as hell. I can't believe I ever brought you into this family. We're leaving.
Yeah, that's a good point. She was really successful as an actress too. And she made it in Hollywood. And imagine the kind of bullshit she dealt with in her career and in that industry.
Right.
And she's used to dealing with crap, and she thought she could manage this. And she really gave it her damnedest, you know? So I wanted to talk about the tiara story because that was a big segment in the book. And last week we played an excerpt from Zoom of Zakiya talking about that. And she kind of nailed what was going to be in the book before it came out. And that was exactly what was in Finding Freedom, that Angela Kelly decided not to help them at all. And it wasn't that Harry was an asshole and they were demanding. It was a deliberate stonewall.
Yeah. Angela Kelly would not even return their calls.
Yeah.
And this was after Meghan had selected the tiara with the Queen there. Like, the whole process of selecting the tiara, that's actually what I thought was going to happen. Mm-hmm. The tabloid stories of Meghan demanding tiaras, that never made any sense to me. And it always rang false because that's not the way the royal collection works. Like, the Queen will choose for you. She'll say, you have a choice between these three pieces.
Yeah.
Choose. And you choose in front of me. And so Meghan was like, all right, I'll choose that one. That's how, no one demands a tiara. But.
No, and if she probably, what happened is she's like, oh, that one is really pretty. And someone's like, no. And she's like, okay.
As the book says, like, Meghan and Claire Waite Keller, her, wedding dress designer, they were talking about how a tiara with emeralds would look great with the wedding gown.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, but they were also waiting. She was like, basically like, we were waiting. We were just waiting to see what we would be given tiara-wise. And we designed the dress around that.
They're taking little things out of context and using it to smear her. They barely mentioned it in the book, and you ran a story about it, but the story of who leaked Meghan and Harry's romance came from Prince Andrew's staff.
And I have a question of, how did the staff find out? I mean, obviously Eugenie and Beatrice, at the time, their office was their father's office. Like, everything they did was run out. So the Yorks would be all up in each other's business. So I would assume that if Eugenie and Beatrice knew about Meghan and knew about Harry's romance in general, that probably their staff would know. So that's how I think it would happen. I don't think it was Andrew like saying, ha ha ha, I'm going to get my nephew.
Yeah.
I'm going to leak this shit about him. I think it was staff gossip, and somebody in the York's office was like, ooh, I know something good. I'm going to leak it.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. And I think Eugenie knew for sure because she was hanging out with Harry and Meghan. And I think the book said, and I don't remember exactly, but I think the book said that Harry confided in her. And they did say that he was really close with her.
Yeah, they are very close.
So Finding Freedom. Sorry, go ahead. Do you mind if I do that? Or
yeah, you want to like transition into the wedding story?
Yeah, because Finding Freedom had pages and pages on the tiara. They set the damn record straight. And that's because Meghan was wronged. And in the section where Meghan did something wrong, like very minor, we can't blame her for this, they put a little parenthetical statement about it. Like, oops, my bad. It was adorable. So they confirmed that Meghan did announce her pregnancy at Eugenie's wedding and that Eugenie was not happy about it. And I am sure Meghan beat herself up over that because she is not the type of person to do anything on purpose. And I'm sure she was just like, yes, I am, when someone asked her, or, it came up or something like that.
I think both things can be true, and both things, they're not blameless, but it's something that happens. Like,
yeah.
Meghan didn't want to lie. She didn't want to lie to people, and she had her little bump at the wedding. And so when people asked, she was like, yes, we are. And she was probably so excited. And then Eugenie was like, well, goddamn, it's my fucking wedding. Everything should be about me. And Eugenie is right. It should have been all about her. It was her wedding day.
Yeah.
So I think
true.
Eugenie has every right to be mad. And I think Meghan had every right to just be honest and tell people because she was super excited. And it's just one of those things that happen.
I love the story about how Meghan had her first outing with the Queen. And how the Queen found her so prepared and respectful. And they had a source who said that Meghan was clever and good at understanding what was required. And we heard that the big break in protocol that Meghan made by getting out of the car before the Queen was something she had asked the Queen about, and the Queen told her to get out first.
You make it sound like it was this big scandal. I don't know. Like, it was
felt
funny.
Like it. When I read that, I was like, ooh, the Queen knew that Meghan shouldn't have gotten out first. And she was like, oh, you go ahead. She's old, but how many years has she been doing it?
Yeah.
She knows.
70 years.
Yeah.
I think that part of the story was getting so much attention because Andrew Morton had just made a big deal about how this poor girl, talking about Meghan, this poor girl didn't know any of the protocol. She walked in front of the Queen. She held her handbag in the wrong hand. It was like these asinine protocol bullshit, whatever. But I think that's why the Queen Meghan story got so much traction, because Andrew Morton had just said that.
Yeah.
That was the 2018 trip that they took together about 6 weeks after Meghan and Harry's wedding, I do think the Queen was really just trying to embrace Meghan publicly and make sure that she felt welcome and that the Queen gave her a public stamp of approval. I don't know why it all went to hell in like 6 months, though.
Because she got pregnant. That's why, because she got pregnant and everyone got jealous of her.
And their South Pacific tour was a huge success and everyone loved them.
Yes.
And that's when the palace really started worrying.
So in our Zoom call, we talked about Meghan's preparedness and how she was nitpicked by the press and couldn't get it right no matter what she did. And Rhiannon talked about that, so I wanted to play that.
After hearing that she had binders of protocol and all the things she needed to do right, and she didn't want to take a step wrong. I mean, I felt even more bad for her if it was possible, because I'm thinking in my mind, she knows she's American. She knows she's biracial. She knows she's the ultimate outsider. And she knows if she probably sneezes wrong, they're going to be angry. And being the type of person Meghan is, I could literally see her poring over research, okay? And then having it in her mind, okay, as soon as I walk out the door, make sure I look like this, I have a smile, or I'm doing this, that, and the other. And imagine working and living with fear like that, because you know if you do just the slightest nuance, they're going to be all over you. So I just even come out more sympathetic towards her, because she must have been a ball of nerves from the get-go.
It's like Rhiannon said, there's nothing that she could have done. She tried her best.
Yeah, and I think Meghan just has the personality where she thinks that if she just prepares enough, like everything will be okay. And that
I'm like that. I could totally relate to that shit.
Yeah, and I think it just blew up in her face that there are going to be all of these people, and very important people, who just wouldn't like her because of what she represented and
who she is. Yeah.
Who she is.
So we also heard that Meghan was set to attend Pippa Middleton's wedding, but the Sun ran a piece pitting Meghan against Pippa, and it was like their cover story, I think. Meghan versus Pippa and the wedding of the Rears or something. And that Meghan decided at the last minute not to go to the church part of the wedding, and she just went to the reception so she wouldn't be photographed.
Right. And we knew that at the time that she went to the reception. What we didn't know at the time was that she actually drove up with Harry and that she stayed at an Airbnb during the actual wedding reception. The way that, once again, the way that Finding Freedom phrased all of that, the Middletons were very worried that Pippa would be overshadowed on her wedding day. Apparently, Meghan was just wreaking havoc on everyone's wedding day. I think it was just like the Middletons had built it up so that Pippa was going to get her quote-unquote royal fairy tale wedding.
Yeah.
And mean old Meghan was going to destroy all of that. I think they were really legitimately concerned about that.
Because there was already so much interest in her. And they didn't want the headlines to be about Meghan on Pippa's big day.
That being said, I also think the Middletons used Meghan around Pippa's wedding. I think they used the idea that Meghan was going to attend for added attention.
Yeah, that's how they are. But then don't really actually come and get photographed or... So we did get another denial from the Cambridges, from Katie Nichol at Vanity Fair. She's Kate's biographer or whatever. So she reported that the book shows that William and Kate come under fire more than other senior royals, with the Duchess of Cambridge portrayed as cold and aloof and William as snobbish and interfering. The Cambridges were so outraged by some of the claims in the book that they allowed friends to speak out on their behalf. We've already talked in the podcast about all the stupid denials that they gave.
Yeah. But, I mean, once again, never complain, never explain is thrown out the window whenever Will and Kate want to correct the record. And they're, incandescent with rage because Harry and Meghan, get to live in Montecito and have 20 million bathrooms.
Yeah, that's typical of them. So a lot of people are saying the book is nicer than they thought it would be. Because it's funny, it does portray the Cambridges negatively, but just by saying the actual shit they did and how they acted.
Well, not even. Like, most of it is just innuendo.
Yeah.
Kate and William's absence throughout certain narratives is striking as well. But yeah, I agree with the larger point that it is not as bad as we thought it was going to be for the senior royals.
No, they really pulled punches. They tried to hold back. So here's a section from Zoom where we talked about that, and this is Courtney, Ameerah, and Sarah.
The whole book was a lot nicer to the Cambridges and the royals in general than I thought it was going to be. Like, none of the stuff that we've talked about where William had his fingers over everything, like, they do not mention the planning to exile them to Africa thing at all. That's not touched on at all. They don't mention Rose Hanbury at all. They briefly, there is one sentence that talks about the Epstein thing, and then in parentheses they say the couple doesn't talk about that. They prefer to keep their thoughts private. So I was like, this book, when people are saying like, oh, this is going to be so bad for the monarchy, it's not. Because
and yet they're still freaking out, and yet they're still feeling the need to come out and like deny things.
They need to keep working with them. Like, if you look at it really cynically, if they came knives out for everyone other than Harry and Meghan, it would be like, well, you're completely biased, so that would be even more slanted against them. And they're still royal reporters. They still want access to any kind of bits of like information that's getting leaked or passed around. They can't just hang themselves on Harry and Meghan because that'll dry up. They need access.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's their job. That would just be like you telling off all your coworkers and then being like, see you Monday.
I like what Ameerah said about how she's going to tell her coworkers off.
They didn't burn bridges. I'm only 150 pages into it. I'm struck by the fact that Harry and Meghan both seem to want to make sure that they are respectful of the Queen and generally respectful of Charles.
Yeah.
They understand that Charles is going to hold their purse strings for a while, even though Harry has his own money and all that. But Charles, they want to stay on his good side. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
And yeah, they aren't burning a lot of bridges. I don't believe that William and Harry are speaking right now. I just don't.
No, I agree with you.
And I think that when this 1-year review comes up, Harry's going to tell them to all go fuck themselves. You know, he's going to be like, screw you assholes, I'm never coming home. And that'll be it, you know. But Charles will probably say, no, you can come home when I'm king.
And plus, the authors, Carolyn Durand and Omid Scobie, they've got to still have their day jobs too. I mean, they probably made mint off this book, but they're still royal reporters, so they don't want to burn bridges either.
Well, I mean, Andrew Morton didn't care about that.
Ooh.
And I think that that's the model of maybe what Omid Scobie will be in the future.
Yeah.
Andrew Morton was never part of the Royal Rota, like, in that way. And he just found a way to keep on profiting from writing those kind of books. I've mentioned this in a few posts. I think that there is a Finding Freedom remix book that might come out next year. I would bet money on it. I think there's going to be a second book.
Because this one is so wildly successful. And we're all buying it and talking about it. And we could run excerpts 2 more weeks and we wouldn't even touch what's in this book. That's how much good stuff is in it. You're going to report on Omid Scobie's interviews promoting the book where he's saying even more dirt subtly. But he's got even more dirt.
A little bit more shade. Yeah. It's going to be interesting. It'll be interesting to see if he even tries to stay in the Rota.
Ooh. He doesn't need to. He could.
No, he doesn't. Because you know what? If he becomes like the Harper's Bazaar unofficial spokesperson for the Sussexes, that's a profitable gig too.
Oh, yeah. Because they're the most popular royals. We want to know about them. And we trust him. And everybody loves him.
Yep.
I'm not listening to the book on tape, but I should get it because everyone's talking about how great he reads it and how nice it is listening to him. This week we heard that Harry and Meghan purchased a home in Montecito, not far from where a home. It's a mansion estate with huge gardens and it's got a playground that looks like it be at a really high-end private kids school. And it's just...
Well, I didn't look at the photos because I didn't want to. I feel like that's an invasion of privacy. Not to like get all snitty about it, but I just like everyone who calls themselves a member of the Sussex squad, don't look at the photos. That will only encourage paparazzi to fly drones over their property. Don't engage in the photos.
Bowing my head. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I looked at them. We didn't link them. And who knows if that's even their house. But it's pretty incredible. And I don't blame them for getting a huge place. After the other stuff we heard in Finding Freedom about all the threats against Meghan's life and Harry and their baby, it's totally understandable that they need a huge estate that they can protect and have massive security around.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried that they're moving into a real tight-ass, elitist, coastal California vibe, and that a lot of those people are not going to be happy about the influx of paparazzi in their sleepy little elite town. I wonder if Harry and Meghan are going to piss people off in that way. Not because they're doing anything, but because the paparazzi come.
Yeah.
But I think that their neighbors will be happy about it in general. They'll want Harry and Meghan to come around for dinner and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, who wouldn't want to invite Harry and Meghan for dinner?
Yeah.
And if you have a dinner party and Harry and Meghan come, like, you can brag about that shit for years. Well, when I had the Sussexes over. So Hecate Kat, she lives in California, and we have a couple people in California on our Zoom call, and they said that Montecito is really beautiful, and it's a cute town, and there's a lot of old money there, and...
Yeah, and the old money, they're not going to be impressed with the paparazzi, obviously. Like, they're not going to be impressed with the fame.
Yeah.
But if there's one thing that Finding Freedom has made very clear is that Meghan makes smart friendships all the time. Yeah. She has a knack for it. And, I mean, you can say it's social climbing. She's just smart about who she's friends with. I'm trying to figure out how to say this. I mean, she is a social climber, and I think it's okay to be a social climber.
But I think also she really cares for people, and she has a genuine connection that she makes with people, and it's not a phoniness. And that's a delicate balance that she maintains.
Right. And I think that she'll fit in very well in Santa Barbara and Montecito. I think that
she's
people
Californian.
Will find her genuine.
She grew up in that area, and she totally knows.
She didn't grow up around old money Montecito, though.
But yeah, she's Californian. She knows the culture and everything.
But she'll make friends.
So this week, we also heard that Joe Biden picked Kamala Harris as his vice president, and that was just wonderful. And that was really good news.
Yeah. As a half Indian girl, I never thought I'd get a chance to vote for a half Indian candidate.
Aww.
And it just makes me happy.
Yeah. It's nice to see Biden pick somebody who would make a great president.
Yeah, it's nice to see Biden not threatened by someone who hit him hard during the primaries.
Yeah.
He likes that she challenged him.
Yeah.
That's great. It says great things about him, and it says great things about her. We're really happy. And she's an American citizen, for the love of fucking God.
Who was that douchebag going after her in Newsweek?
He was some lawyer. Someone said that he ran against her, I guess, years and years ago. He's trying to, pretend that because that she was an anchor baby, that she's first generation American, that nullifies her American citizenship.
Which is not a thing.
She was born in Oakland. It's fine.
It's not a thing. And Newsweek should have never published that. We talked about this in Zoom, and everyone is so excited for Kamala. And here's that section. This is Angelina, Rhiannon, and Ameerah.
I cried the night of the election. I was crying the next day at work after Trump was elected. It was just so devastating. And so, this is the first time since that has happened that I was like, I have hope. I have genuine hope for this country. So it's just been great news. And yeah, pass the mic to her.
Well, I started to cry. I didn't expect to start crying when I saw the announcement. And then I'll be honest with you, this is the first time I've turned on CNN in about 3 months because I've really tried to stay away from any type of news. I'll listen to NPR in the car, but when I saw it once I got the text, I saw it on CNN, I just got so emotional because right now everything is gloom and doom. And like you said, Angelina, it's feeling hopeful. And I think on top of that, it's being seen, because if you look at the history of Black women in the Democratic Party, we carry the party. And if it weren't for us, Joe, the gentleman in Alabama, they would not be where they are if it weren't for Black women. So I think it's such a big moment right now.
She was my pick for president. So for me, it's like a nice, like, second prize, like at least she gets to like be there,
So you were saying that she was your pick for president too?
Yeah. I was really looking forward to voting for her in the primaries. And then when she dropped out, I was so depressed.
Yeah.
But November, December last year, I was actually watching cable news.
Mm-hmm.
They completely ignored Kamala's candidacy.
They did.
They acted like she didn't even exist.
It was ridiculous. And she was killing it in the debates, and Yeah,
I think she sort of mismanaged her campaign a little bit, but I also think the media, the men in the media were just...
didn't give her enough a chance.
Yeah, they just blanked her.
They blanked her worse than Warren. They blanked Warren, but they blanked Kamala worse.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Yeah.
And I'm just happy. Like, the thing that I really wanted the most, which was Biden picking Kamala, it happened. He didn't fuck it up. He didn't change his mind at the last minute. And that just makes me happy. He didn't, like, at the last minute say, fuck you guys, I'm picking Warren,
Yeah. And I hope that it energizes people, too, and gets more people out to vote. I really do.
Oh, it's already energizing a lot of women.
Oh, yeah.
Which makes me happy. And they've had huge fundraising ever since they announced Kamala. It's been great.
Okay, let's move on to the user feedback. So, Wild Waffles commented on our podcast post. Thank you for putting these out every week. They really help me start my week out on a better note, and I look forward to them. Thanks, Wild Waffles. And Silvercharm commented, another great episode, and love the addition and insight from the Zoom calls. Thank you. And if anybody wants to join the Zooms, just email me info@celebrity.com, and I'll send you the sign-up form, and we meet every Wednesday at 4. Let's move on to the comments of the week.
Do you have a comment of the week?
I did, and I fucking forgot it. Oh, I gotta go over there. I need to do that earlier. I'm tired. It's been a long week. I don't know how you're doing it.
It has been a very long week. And as we're doing this, Serena and Venus are playing, and they've just split sets. I've got the score up.
Okay.
Just in case any of our listeners care. Serena and Venus have split sets. All right. Well, I'll do my comment of the week first. How about that? I'll do mine first.
Okay.
All right. My comment of the week was from Donald Trump. He was like on crack or something, and he said in one of his press conferences that the 1918 Spanish flu pandemic ended World War II. And the comments in the post were really funny. Everyone was like doing these fake historical facts, like, and Dazed and Confused had one of my favorites because she, or he, I think it's a she, did a play on a few of the other gaffes that Trump has made recently. She wrote, the treaty to end World War II after the 1917 Spanish flu was actually signed at Yosemite. Then all of the delegates went to Thailand.
Oh. So my comment of the week is on the post about Brian Austin, and I just picked it now while you were talking because I forgot earlier. About Brian Austin Green getting all mad because he hasn't found a girlfriend to parade around yet, so he's focusing on his ex-wife or his estranged wife, Megan Fox's relationship with Machine Gun Kelly.
Who is gross.
Yeah, if you think he's gross, he's really gross.
Come on.
He's your type, kind of. If he was Southern like that, you would like him. But he's California dirtbag.
Is he? Is Machine Gun Kelly California? He just gives off Florida dirtbag.
Yeah, Florida dirtbag is a whole different species of dirtbag.
Florida dirtbag isn't like Southern dirtbag. It's not California dirt. It's a very specific, just Florida. Ooh.
Yeah. So, what did you write about him?
I used a line in that post I had used on the podcast, which is that he's the embodiment of Florida.
Yeah, that was it. That was really good. Everybody liked that. So Shelly said, and she just used their initials. She wrote BAG, yuck. MGK, Machine Gun Kelly, blah. Girl, no, puke. That's all she wrote. Like Megan Fox, yeah. Ugh.
Like Brian Austin Green hasn't been a thing in like 20 years. No, longer than that, 30 years.
Since 90210.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Machine Gun Kelly, yeah. Like we already said, he's Florida dirtbag. That's the vibe he has. I don't get why Megan Fox is attaching herself to him.
He's giving her attention now and playing that game when she needs somebody to fill that hole.
I think he's really into her.
Yeah. I think he is too, yeah.
And I think maybe that's what she likes, is that he's not playing a game. He genuinely loves her after a week or something. I don't know. Megan needs some self-esteem.
She does.
I feel bad for her most of the time.
She does. Aw.
That was like a bummer note, but like, yeah. Megan Fox has not had the best life, you guys.
She's got that tiny thumb, too.
No, she's got like a club thumb, right?
Yeah. She's beautiful and all.
Her life sucks. She's fucking Machine Gun Kelly. She's got weird thumbs. Sucks to be her. Oh my god.
Poor Megan Fox. All right, thanks for listening, bitches. Fuck the police.
Thanks, bitches. Fuck the police.
Thank you for listening to the Celebrity Podcast. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen. If you like us, please turn off your ad blocker when you visit our site. You can text us or leave a voicemail at 434-218-3219. Our music is from AA Alto, Maiden, and via Premium Beat and Sound of Picture. Thanks again.